Hello and welcome to Newsfeed on Trust TV. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala, bringing you trending stories that people are talking about and sharing around the globe today, and also their opinions on such issues. US, UK patients now seek medical care in Nigeria, says federal government. NLC suspends proposed protest over telecom tariff hike. Government releases power tariff hike guidelines for discos. And on the foreign scene, Trump signs order withdrawing US from UN bodies. Now, top on what's trending, the federal government has said that Nigeria's health sector has greatly improved, so much that it is now attracting patients not just from the West African sub-region, but also from countries as far as the United States and the United Kingdom. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Patey, disclosed this while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the Federal Executive Council FEC meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, on Tuesday, February 4th. Quote, "People are now beginning to come from the sub-region and even from far-away places like the UK and the US to receive quality health care in Nigeria despite the challenges we face. Significant progress is being made, and the transformation promised by President Tinubu is already taking shape," close quote, Patey said. Now reacting, someone said, "Where is the improvement? UCH owes PHCN over 4 billion naira. Someone who wants to do scan went to a nearby place to do it and returned to them at UCH Ibadan." Next one says, "If this is true, then I'm coming back. The health system here is stressful. To see doctor, you go need lie better lie and you must act drama. Someone will say I'm dying, they will tell you take paracetamol." And the last reaction on this story is from One Talks Banks, and it reads, "I wonder why Nigeria's president is still coming over to London for medical treatments." Next on what's trending, the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC has suspended its proposed protest over the 50% increase in telecommunication tariff. A decision was taken after the Labour Union met with a delegation from the federal government led by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, on Monday. According to a statement signed by the Director of Information and Public Relations in the office of the SGF, Shegun Imohiosen, the meeting was aimed at maintaining industrial harmony and protecting the interests of Nigerians. Now, the first netizen to comment on this story says, "Actors of the same movie acting different roles." Next one says, "Was any sane person expecting the protest from the NLC before?" Adeni Pekuno Joe is saying, "Telecom operators are here with their money to invest in Nigeria and they must recoup their money. So who asked Labour to protest?" Now, as controversies trail the purported electricity tariff hike by the federal government, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has issued regulations on the procedure for tariff reviews. The latest order signed by NERC Chairman Sanusi Garba stated that pursuant to the provisions of the Electricity Act 2023, the Commission is obligated to review the approve a fair tariff to allow licensees to recover prudent costs and a reasonable return on capital invested in the business for the provision of electricity services. It stated that Section 116, subsection 1 of the Act provides that activities in the generation, transmission, distribution, trading, supply, system operation, and electricity distribution franchising shall be subject to tariff regulation, saying Section 116, subsection 2 further provides for the Commission to develop a tariff methodology that allows licensees operating efficiently to recover the full efficient cost of their business activities plus a reasonable return on investment by shareholders. Quote, "In exercise of the powers conferred in Section 116 of the Act, the Commission has developed and adopted the multi-year tariff order methodology as an incentive-based price regulation framework for the determination and projection of tariffs payable in the Nigerian electricity supply industry," close quote. Next on what's trending, Chinedu Uburu, chairman of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, Algon in Ebonyi, has revealed that workers who died in 2009 are still drawing salaries from the state local government coffers. Uburu disclosed this during a courtesy visit by the executives of the Ebonyi chapter of the Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ), led by Samson Nwafo in Abakaliki. He explained that the anomaly was discovered during the ongoing verification exercise at the various local government areas in the state. The Algon chairman expressed concerns about the local government's inability to pay salaries due to the federal government's increase in the minimum wage. He urged workers who are yet to receive their payments to remain patient. Now reacting, someone said, "What is the use of BVN?" Next one is from one Dimeji Roland, and it reads, "Nothing is impossible in Africa, Nigeria to be precise." And the last reaction on this story says, "Laugh out loud. Ghost workers for Nigeria, plenty pass who no get job." And the senator representing Delta North in the National Assembly, Ned Nwoko, has stated that his decision to leave the People's Democratic Party was influenced by the party's opposition to the creation of Anioma State. Nwoko, speaking in Asaba on Monday, explained, quote, "I left because I want to be able to get the support of the ruling party in the creation of Anioma State. The governor and former governor, who are the leaders of PDP, are against the creation of Anioma State," close quote. Nwoko revealed that despite his efforts to seek support from the PDP national leadership, members of the National Working Committee were embroiled in internal disputes, unable to provide the necessary leadership for the cause. He further criticized the lack of funding for some projects he had promised his constituency during his electioneering campaign. Nwoko's defection to the APC was officially announced last week after what he described as irreconcilable differences with Governor Sheriff Oborevwori and other PDP leaders in Delta State. Now, Amiable Adorable is saying Anioma isn't big enough to be created as a state Oga Ned. Next one is from one Melv official. He just made the worst political move. Ask Omo Agege and Nwaboshi what it means to be opposition in Delta State. Zero chance. Orji is saying politics is all about the interests of your people, and if you're not allowed to fulfill your promise to them, a good leader will quit the party, and that is what Senator Ned has done. Congratulations, Senator. Now let's take a quick break. We'll be back in no time. Do stay with us. Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, you're watching Newsfeed on Trust TV. Now, on a sad note, a 200-level mass communication student of the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, has allegedly committed suicide over economic hardship. It was gathered that the student, whose name is withheld, took a poisonous substance at his residence in the Okeodo axis of Tanke, Ilorin. According to The Guardian, the deceased ended his life last week when his roommate had left for lectures. Quote, "We just returned to find a suicidal note that explained his inability to cope again and decided to take the substance and died," a friend who preferred anonymity stated. Before his death, the student was on a cumulative grade point aggregate of 4.5 academic standing. A source in the varsity who also pleaded anonymity told newsmen that the deceased was being trained and sponsored by his widowed mother. Now reacting, one Queen Jane wrote, "He for just leave school first, then later come back. School no dey run." Dr. Morula is saying, "Life is really getting harder by the day. Being a student in this economic hardship can't be a walk in the park. He was probably even responsible for fending for himself. Wish him a smooth sail, such an unfortunate loss." And the last reaction in the story says, "The truth be say, life lately has not been truly rosy, but you see the love I have for my widowed outweighs the uncertainty life has been throwing. What has been keeping me is grace and God's favor as I continue on this sojourn. Rest in peace to the dead, and may Almighty God console the mother." Next on What's Trending, a 31-year-old married woman identified as Ajayi Esther was on February 4th arraigned before an Ado-Ekiti Chief Magistrate Court for allegedly refusing to marry a suitor despite collecting the sum of 607,500 naira from him. Esther is standing trial on a 3-count charge of fraud, impersonation, and breach of peace. During the court hearing, the prosecutor, Inspector Sodiq Adeniyi, told the court that the defendant committed the offences on February 1st at about 10 a.m. in Ado-Ekiti. Adeniyi told the court that Esther met the complainant, Ajayi Oluwabusuyi, and lied to him that she is single. He explained that on the pretext of agreeing to marry him, the defendant collected 607,500 naira from the complainant in the preparation for their engagement ceremony, which she failed to follow through. Adeniyi also alleged that Esther falsely presented herself as a teacher in Egirioke Comprehensive School in Iyin, Ekiti, Irepodun, Ifelodun local government area of Ekiti State. He said the defendant conducted herself in a manner likely to cause the breach of peace. According to him, the offenses contravene sections 186, 393 and 181 subsection 1D of the Criminal Law of Ekiti State 2021. The prosecutor asked the court for adjournment to enable him study the case file and assemble his witnesses. When the charges were read to her, Esther pleaded not guilty. Her lawyer, Joy Raphael, urged the court to grant her bail with a promise that she would not jump bail. The Chief Magistrate, Dolamu Babalogbon, granted the defendant bail in the sum of 50,000 naira with one surety in like sum and adjourned the case until March 5th for hearing. Now, a user with the name Welcome to 2026 wrote, "I love that people are now taking everything to the court. If you send babe TP and she refused to show up, you can take her to court." Isaac Sunday is saying, "That's deceitful. Let the law take its course on her." And Odumodu White wrote, "Since last election, Nigeria has taken this law of a thing for their head. Any small thing, na lawsuit." Next on what's trending, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has arraigned another set of foreigners comprising Chinese and Filipino nationals before the Federal High Court in Lagos on charges of cybercrimes, cyber-terrorism, possession of documents containing false pretense, and identity theft, among others. The foreigners were separately arraigned before four justices of the court: Justice Olayinka Faji, Justice Chukwujeku Aneke, Justice Dede Dipeolu, and Justice Alexander Owoye. Newsmen gathered that 10 foreigners were arraigned before Justice Faji, 6 were arraigned before Justice Aneke, and a total of 16 foreigners were arraigned before Justice Dipeolu, most of them Chinese nationals. 13 Filipino nationals were arraigned before Justice Alexander Owoye. Now reacting, one Arthur Miller wrote, "So them dey Naija, they hustle, they give us bad name. Imagine damages these guys have done to our nation. Small time you go hear them set them free to go serve in their country when Nigerians fool their prison under death row for small offenses." Man like Dante is saying, "Can we now say that Nigerians are not fraudulent people? These are the people that commit these cyber crimes in Nigeria." And the last reaction in the story says, "No mercy for them because they are punishing our people here." Now on the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday signed an executive order withdrawing Washington from a number of United Nations bodies, including its Human Rights Council, UNHRC, and setting up a broader review of U.S. funding for the multilateral organization. The executive order said it withdrew Washington from UNHRC and the main UN relief agency for Palestinians, UNRWA, and will review involvement in the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The moves were made in protest against what White House Staff Secretary Will Scarf described as anti-American bias at the UN agencies. The 47 members of the UN Human Rights Council are elected by the General Assembly to 3-year terms, with the United States ending its latest term on December 31st. It currently has observer status at the body. And the first reaction in the story says, all of these agencies through which USA makes provisions and aids to the world at large is why they are world power. Once these findings are out, it's only a matter of time for USA to fall short of that name. Next one is from a user with the handle name Stop the Hate, and it says he should withdraw US from NATO. Let's see how powerful US is. And the last reaction we're taking on the program today reads, if that's going to make other nations to be less dependent on free pies from these organizations, it's a good idea. And that's a wrap on the program today. Do also follow us across all our social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. Until next time, goodbye.